Morning, good afternoon, good evening. This was posted by Nick Mangwana. The country's main opposition party, CCC, is in agreement with a resolution by the ruling party, Zanu PF, to postpone next harmonized election from 2028 to 2030 to allow development projects initiated by President Mnangagwa to come to fruition. This is interesting. We know that Mnangagwa is desperate to stay in power. We also know that he's a dictator who has no respect of the law and rule of law. Zanu PF, ever since the country's independence in 1980, has blatantly rigged the elections to stay in power. The country's constitution, even going back to the Lancaster House Constitution, called for free, fair, and credible elections, and that the mandate to govern must be derived from winning the majority of the votes in a free, fair, and credible election. Zanu PF brush that aside. And so we know Mnangagwa is determined to stay in power. At the present moment, there are two hurdles that Mnangagwa is going to clear to stay in power beyond 2028. The first one is that he must rig the 2028 elections. Some people will say, well, he has rigged the elections in the past, so he should have no problems rigging the next elections. Well, it's not that simple. Yes, Zanu PF has rigged the elections in the past, but rigging elections is not a walk in the park. We know that in 2023, he blatantly rigged those elections. And got away with it only because Nelson Chamisa and company participated in those flawed elections and conned their followers to participate in their millions. SADC and the AU election observers condemned 2023 elections as flawed and illegal. And so, strictly speaking, Mnangagwa and his regime are illegitimate. But SADC could not take the next logical step of denying Zanu PF legitimacy, as they did in 2008. Why? Well, CCC, Chamisa and his friends had participated in the elections. And millions of the opposition supporters had participated. Nearly 2 million people voted for Chamisa. And so SADC could not pretend that ordinary Zimbabweans had participated. If ordinary Zimbabweans are happy with participating in flawed elections, it is not for SADC to step in and say, no, you can't do that. And this is where it gets complicated for Mnangagwa. 2028, rigging elections will be easy. And he is guaranteed that his friends, Chamisa and company, will participate. However, what is not guaranteed is that Chamisa will be able to get millions of his supporters to participate. I think it is fair to say Chamisa lied about plugging all the vote-rigging loopholes. Even some of his hardcore supporters have been forced to swallow that bitter pill. They cannot deny that Chamisa lied. It is obvious he lied. And so Chamisa, since 2023, has been hemorrhaging political support. Yes, he still can count on a number of his brain-dead supporters doing whatever he tells them to do. The worrying question for him and for Mnangagwa is, would they participate in their millions again? And that the two gentlemen know will not be certain. The second hurdle that Mnangagwa has got to clear here is the very fact that the Zimbabwe Constitution says a president can serve a maximum of 2 5-year terms. And he has been president since the military coup of 2017. And so he will have served his maximum 5-year terms, 2 5-year terms. We know that changing that part of the Constitution is proving a headache for Mnangagwa. But this lead balloon Nick Mangwana is floating to postpone harmonized elections from 2028 to 2030 would avoid the two hurdles for Mnangagwa. You will not have to face elections, so you will not have to worry about how to rig elections and to get away with it. And secondly, you will be getting around this issue of 2 fixed terms, because he can say, well, he's still serving his second term, albeit it has been extended by 5 years, by another 2 years. You'll be killing two birds with one stone, you might say. But the truth of the matter is, this is not so easy. If Mnangagwa thought bending the rules, bending the Constitution constraints, closed, stopping him staying in power beyond the fixed 2 terms was difficult. Well, the difficulty is multiplied 10 times and more by the proposal to postpone the elections. Because now what he's doing is he's trying to change the constitutional clause that demands that the mandate to rule the country must be derived from the people through free, fair, and credible elections. And those elections must be held regularly, every 5 years in our case. By proposing to postpone the election, Parliament is now saying they want to deny the people that right to elect fresh representatives. That is a bigger challenge than merely extending a president's office. If these parliamentarians can extend their stay in power by 2 years, what is there to stop them extending it by 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? The nation will be very foolish to allow this to happen. You open that Pandora's box, you'll never close it. I believe Nick Mangwana and his Zanu PF friends know fully well that postponing the harmonized election is a lead balloon. They know that a lead balloon will never fly. They are deliberately pretending that this lead balloon will fly. This is a decoy. They want the nation's attention to be drawn to this lead balloon. They will push and pretend that they will postpone the harmonized elections. And then a few months before the elections are due, they'll give in as a concession and say we will go ahead with the elections. This is not the first time Zanu PF has done that. And it will not be the last time either. What matters then will be, while people were concentrating on this lead balloon, they took their eyes off the real issue, that 2028 elections cannot go ahead without meaningful democratic reforms to ensure the elections are free, fair, and credible. And if they should go ahead, as we know, Zanu PF will begin that they will go ahead, that people must be smart enough to stop the folly of participating in the flawed elections to give the regime legitimacy. That is a debate that must be had between now and 2028. But it is a debate that could be sidelined as people start debating the lead balloon for postponing 2028 elections. Zanu PF is playing a double game. There is a method in their madness. We, the people of Zimbabwe, must be on the lookout. We must not allow ourselves to be outwitted. While we must make it abundantly clear that postponing the harmonized elections is a lead balloon, we must also keep our eyes on the ball. That the 2028 elections cannot go ahead without meaningful democratic reforms being implemented. And if, as one expects will happen, the elections should go ahead, and CCC, Chamisa and company would participate and would tell their usual idiotic lies of CCC winning big because they have devised ways of winning rigged elections. We must make sure that the people know that they're being conned and they do not participate as they've done in the past in their millions to give the regime legitimacy. Thank you very much for those who are able to listen, and I hope you'll join us at 6 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock